This is the DeWalt DCS356 oscillating tool, also known as a multi-tool because you can use this as multiple different tools. The word oscillating means that it moves back and forth in a regular pattern or rhythm. So it means I've got this little blade on the end here. If I hold my trigger down, it's going to vibrate and move this blade around at 20,000 oscillations per minute. That is what this tool is capable of. It means you can do a lot of things with this tool. For example, I've got a cutting blade on this now, which means I can go and I can cut arcs. I can cut things with this blade. Or I can change it to a sanding attachment and use it as a sander to sand down some connections of arcs. So there's so many different things that you can do with this tool. There's a few cool things about this tool I really want to get into, but first I'm going to start with what I got when I bought this. I bought this tool by itself, so it did not come in a kit with a charger and a battery. I already had the batteries needed to use it. I got two 31 by 43mm blades to cut timber and also another blade to cut wood with nails in it. Only got two here to show you now because I have already been using it a fair bit and have killed the teeth on one of my other blades. It's got its own little fancy tool-free accessory fitment, which means you can get all these blades and you can just slide them in here without using any tools. But obviously there are some oscillating tool attachments which don't come equipped to be easily sit into this DeWalt brand. So in the box we also do have a universal blade adapter, so you can still use those blades with this oscillating tool. Also came with a sanding pad and 25 pieces of sanding paper. And if you want to see this in motion, it's just going to vibrate that sanding pad and it's going to make it just like a traditional sander. Definitely the one thing I love the most about this oscillating tool is the fact you can change these attachments without using any tools. That means if I want to change this over from a blade, all I'm doing is pulling this trigger back, taking that straight out and putting my blade straight in. There you have it, that's nice and tight, that is not going to go anywhere. How it works is when you push this lever back here, it pulls some teeth, it pulls a plate away from some teeth. And in all my attachments I have all these holes going around here which slide into some teeth in the tool. I have actually broken off one of the teeth in this already. There's, I reckon, a good maybe 8 teeth in there. And I've ripped front off accidentally by having this a bit jammed in there trying to pull a blade out. Might be me using the tool a little bit too roughly, but I don't reckon that tooth should have came out so easily. So that's one thing I'm a bit cautious about. I don't want to pull out too many more of these because then my tool bits might not be able to actually fit and hold in there securely. Another thing I'm nervous about is I don't want to be using this tool against a surface and then knock that lever there. And knocking that lever back while this tool is oscillating might push that blade up and actually make my blade fall out or my attachment fall out. I've used this quite a bit so far and it hasn't fallen out yet. I haven't managed to do that, but it is something I am very concerned about that might happen down the track. It's a very easy hold. You've got your handhold just down here by the bottom. You've got a trigger there to hold it on, and you've also got a safety lock switch which you can push that through, and no matter what, that isn't going to turn on. We do also have 3 different power modes that we can use on this tool. You can put your finger on the trigger really slightly, and depending on how much pressure you give the trigger, it's going to control the speed that it oscillates at. So if I put it down really slightly, you can hear that it's not moving too much, but if I put it down the full force, there's a huge difference there. The only problem is it's really hard to regulate that to a constant speed. So that's why these 3 different switches down here, these 3 different settings are very important. If I have it all the way up at number 3, my finger all the way down means this is oscillating at 20,000 oscillations per minute. If I switch it down to number 2, the max oscillations is 17,000 per minute. All the way to number 1, if I hold it down, the max oscillations are 13,000 per minute. There is an LED light up light at the top of the tool, which is awesome. It lights up right in front of your work area. You're not going to have any hands or fingers in front of that. There's no way you are going to be shadowing it. Only problem with that though is, as you can see, the light's up here, the blade's down there. So if I'm holding this tool and I'm looking from below the tool, or I'm holding it upside down, I'm looking from the underside of the blade, that light's not going to do anything. I need to be looking eyes down from the blade, which the tool sometimes, the body of the tool sometimes gets in the way to block that range of eyesight. So the easiest way to really see what you're doing a lot of the time is looking from the back side of the tool, and then this way there's no light. So it's a bit frustrating that you can't really see what you're doing perfectly that way. But on the other hand, I honestly can't see a way where they could actually have a light lighting up that side of the tool without completely changing the whole setup of this tool. If you look at it flatly, our battery sits down here, that's the same height as our blade. So if you're running it along a surface on the floorboards or something, that battery is not going to get in the way. You can have it smoothly down there, getting your tool right into those hard to get to corners. And if I'm holding my hand there, I'm not going to be having my hand hard against the ground and pinching myself because that battery is still going to be lower than my hand. So I'm not going to be hitting the ground and cutting my hand while doing it. I've got a few clips on how this tool is when I'm using it. You can see how it cuts, hear how noisy it is. I will turn it down a little bit though so it won't hurt your ears, because it is a bit of a noisy tool. It's got that just irritating vibration sound, and as soon as you're cutting something, you're definitely going to hear it. Just looking at the body of the tool as well, just a few hardware things I can point out is that it is 310mm long, which is just over a foot long. Down the bottom here we do have a few screw holes if you do want to put a rafter or a belt hook on, so you can hook this onto your nail belt. I can confirm that it is a brushless motor, which is definitely just a go-to. It's a standard go-to if you're buying tools these days. Also, another thing I want to point out with this trigger is, as you can see, you hold it here and that's the trigger up there. You push that down and that activates the tool. But if you're holding the tool in a weird way, you can push it down at the top here as well. This just means you've got multiple different ways where you can grip the tool and hold the tool while still easily being able to access the trigger. With the battery attached as well, this tool is incredibly light. You can easily throw it around, you can use it, you can hold it above your head, and you can be sanding walls, you can be doing heaps of things with this tool without your arms getting tired and sore. It's definitely one of those tools that as soon as I bought it, I'm using it at least once a week. It is super handy and makes those jobs, which might take a little bit longer, a lot quicker to do when you have it. And once again, if you are doing little small jobs using a oscillating tool, you don't want to be running a lead around, a cord around everywhere so you can use it. It's one of these tools that's super light, super easy. You need a battery one. It makes it so much more easy just to take with you, and you can just take it to small areas, quickly do the job you're doing, and then you're good to go. You're not wasting time running all those cords around. The tool does run on 18-volt batteries, which means that those FlexiVolt batteries still will power the tool, but it is unneeded. It only needs these small 18-volt batteries to run. And obviously, if you've got these, it's going to be so much more beneficial to have the smaller battery in, making the tool lighter and easy to use. There you have it. There is my review on the DCS 356 DeWalt oscillating tool. I love this tool. It's definitely one of my favorite tools in my collection now. Let me know if you got one or if you use a different branded multi-tool. Let me know how you think it compares to this one. Thank you for watching, and please consider hitting that subscribe button.